if you look at the technologies that we need to drive the decarbonization, about 90% of them is actually available to us, right? But only 10% is scaled to commercial deployment. And the big point there is we need financing. If you look at the emerging markets and developing economies, they need about $2.4 trillion worth of money every year. Only a fraction of that is going into the Asian economies today. In fact, if you look at the last few years, the private capital deployment into transition finance in Asia has actually gone down instead of going up. And I think there are three big levers that can unlock that, the different mechanisms. I would like to talk about them. Number one is what I call the transition finance. And the way I distinguish them from the green finance is think of a lot of financing going into renewables, which is quote unquote very green, but we also need financing into technologies like biofuels and other transition, right? So that is number one. The second is what I call transition credit. In fact, this is a mechanism that was launched by Monetary Authority of Singapore a couple of years back, and what it does is it really brings non-economical technologies into the money. So this really drives hard-to-abate sectors into money commercially at scale and can really provide that financing bridge. And the third one I would talk about is the blended finance. And what it does is basically it brings in different pools of capital, say philanthropic capital, impact capital, and the commercial capital all together to really bring the technologies that are not into the money to the money, right? Again, the classic example would be the $5 billion FAST-P fund that is announced by Singapore. So these are the top 2 or 3 technologies in the financing mechanisms in my mind that can really bridge the gap.